Welcome everybody to our Trechoro presentation. Once again, we're looking at SysML2 and we're looking at a pre-alpha version of Trechoro and showing how to model and create things using this great new software from Sparx Systems. Just a reminder that this is a pre-alpha software and we're showcasing it to you today, giving you a bit of an early access view under the covers. Today we're going to do an introduction to view definitions. My name's Scott Hebbard. I'm joined today by Stephen Maguire that's going to step us through the process. Welcome, Stephen. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, Scott, and thank you for the introduction. Yeah, exciting time, Scott. The SysML2 is a new language, very exciting. Lots of great work that's been done on the language to make it much easier, much more flexible language for modeling systems engineering projects, model-based systems engineering landscape. Today we are going to look at view definitions and to say that this is a pre-alpha version of the tool. So if you're looking at this video, then you're wanting to get an idea of what we've got in store. I've been using the tool for quite some time now, and I'm very confident that the engine underneath this is incredibly solid. The development team have done an incredible job. We're just now sort of polishing the edges, rounding things off as we move into an alpha and then beta and then finally into a production release. We're modeling a vehicle, and we've got a diagram up on the screen now that's showing what's called a part definition and then a part usage. So we've got a kind of a definition of a vehicle, its attributes and things, and then we've got a particular vehicle, this four-wheel drive utility vehicle, which is a sort of a variant, if you like, of that, or a part usage. So what can be confronting when you come from to SysML is the vast number of elements and relationships, remembering that in the SysML2 relationships are actually types of elements, but the language itself is built on top of KerML, and that language is exposed here as well because we need it, and we've talked about this before. But if we look over at the properties window, I have just got this this textual notation open here as well, Scott, in a different panel. You can see that we support both the import and the export of that textual notation. We don't support changing the textual notation and synchronizing that with the model at the moment, but keep watching this space. I'm going to close that textual notation at the moment. We're going to focus on the modeling today. And here we have this this diagram, and notice that a number of these relationships in the diagram have got a KerML prefix. So the feature typing relationship has not been kind of redefined at the SysML. So the SysML2 has been built on top of KerML, and many things have been kind of, I guess, redefined at that level to make them useful for this modeling systems engineering concepts and things. But the KerML could be used for modeling or creating any number of other languages. So anyway, it's exposed there, and that's an important thing to understand. But if we look at this, as we've been going along, it might have been occurring to you that, gee, there's a lot of things that I have to plow through here to, to find the things that I want. So if I wanted to put a new, part usage onto this diagram, I've got to kind of scroll through all this stuff and go, well, okay, there's another part usage, and I could drag that onto the diagram and say, hey, this is a family sedan or something, and that would be another, another, type of vehicle. But what I want to show you today, Scott, is the fact that the language SysML2 has got this concept of views and view definitions built into it. So we can remove some of this noise if we know what we're focusing on. So what I want to do is create a new package in here. Now, where would I create it? Well, actually, up in the libraries, you see that there are a number of different libraries that we've got. We've got the KerML library and the SysML library. We also have the Sparx library there as well. So the Sparx library has got some Sparx view definitions in it already, and they're just things that we've been working on. We think these might be, useful views. As we go into alpha and beta and production, that might be something that we expand a lot more. But one of the things that we'll be confronting, it was confronting for me a couple of years ago when I first came across the SysML SysML2 and the work that we were doing on the tool was the fact that I came from a SysML 1.5 background, and I was expecting to see the equivalent of, where's my block definition diagram, where's my internal block definition diagram, where are all these different activity diagrams and things. So that's kind of gone away a little bit. There is, when we go create a new diagram, there is this kind of this standard view definitions here, but you see that there are other view definitions there as well. So the general view is the most general, and it's kind of contains everything. But we can create our own view, Scott, which is what I'm going to do. So where would I put them? Well, I've got this example projects here, but and I've got my simple vehicle model. I could put it inside the simple vehicle model, but it's more likely that I probably want to use it outside that and use it across different projects, because the view might be generic enough for us to do it, but it's typically going to be. So I'm going to create another package in here, and I'm going to call it view definitions. And that's just a package there. And so now I've got that, I can just use the arrows in the project browser toolbox to move that up and down. I want to have it up there. And actually, I'm probably going to again rename this. I've kind of gotten into the habit of using that type of camel case, but view definitions there. And if I look at my toolboxes, Scott, here, you see that we've been focusing on the SysML2 as we've been working, but there is actually a views and viewpoints toolbox. So I'm going to look at that. And here we have a view definition. So again, very similar kind of thing to what we looked at before, view definition, view usage. Let's just go and create a view definition. I'll drag that from the toolbox. No need to create a diagram, and drop it on to this one. So, let's call it, let's do something. Let's have a look at it and say, look, we want to make it something like to do with items. So let's call it item definitions and usages, something like that. So item definitions and usages. So that's my view, and that will rename there in the browser window. So I've got my view now. Now, if I go over to the properties window, which is where all the actions kind of occurring over here, you'll see here that I've got this view condition here. So under SysML view definition, we've got a view condition, and what I can do is I can simply select this little square there, go add new, and then I just open that up. Nothing seems to have changed, Scott, but it actually has been added. That might be something that we change as well, just to expand that out. Yeah. And now you can see that there's a little 3 dots, and if you know anything about the tool, Enterprise Architect, you know that that's an opportunity for us to enter something into a dialog box or yes, something like that. So I'm going to click on it there, and that brings up the SysML expression editor. So what I can do now is I can define what I'm wanting to do is to say, look, that toolbox with all those SysML2 elements in it, it's kind of too busy. It's I don't really need that. I just want to have this particular view where I'm just looking at item definitions and item usages. So there's a syntax in here, and I start with an @ and then I'm going to type in SysML, and then ::, and you can see now that it's the IntelliSense is starting to kick in. I'm going to type in item definition there, and if I click off that, you'll see that the colons have gone blue and the item definition's gone green. So that's telling me it's a visual indicator that I haven't misspelled anything, that item definition is part of the SysML language mechanisms. And I'm going to put an OR in, and I'm going to say again the @ symbol SysML : and I'm going to call it now item usage. Yeah. So again, you can say that the color changed. Colors changed, so that's indicating that I haven't made any typos. So I'm going to go OK to that. Now, Scott, this might seem a little bit strange. It's popped up twice there. The reason is that you can have multiple expressions in here. You can add a new thing, and this is going to be, I guess, the top one is going to be the union of the other ones. In this particular case, we've just entered one in, and so they look the same. But that's why the two of them are appearing there. It's not something that's not working properly at the moment. So having defined that, let's go in now and now create another diagram. So let's create another diagram. We'll call it, let's call it new diagram there, and we'll call it dialog box has popped up somewhere. I've just got it. I've still got an editor open there. There we go. It's popped up there. So here we've got our views. I'm just going to have to refresh this for a minute. I don't think that view's been loaded. I'm just going to perhaps just go in. This is a bit of an alpha version thing, Scott. I think that item definitions is there. I might just reload that package and see whether that does it. Package control, package contents, reload current package. We'll see what went on there. So item definition usage is under view definitions. It is an item. It is a view definition there. And let's go back in again and see whether that does it. Otherwise, we might just reload the model. But let's have a look and see. We want to add another definitions models. So I'm going to add another one there. I'm going to add another package. I'll add another package there actually to start with, and I'll call it moment. And let's add a diagram to that one and see whether we get it now. Yeah, so now it's popped up. So that's just a refresh thing.
Yep.
It just needed to be reloaded. That again is pre-alpha, so that will fix itself. Let's go in here now and choose that one, and we'll call it. Let's call this fuel tank.
Yep.
Fuel tank items, something like that. So let's create that diagram. And let's have a look now and see. Now, it still hasn't, what it should have done is just, it should have restricted the toolbox to just the things that we want. And that's just an alpha version thing. Again, what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to close this diagram and reopen it. And you'll see now, hopefully, that now the SysML2 has been limited to, we said, item definition, item usage. And I think at the moment we're putting in a couple of other things as well that we thought might be useful. But, that's a work in progress. We'll see what's going to happen with that. But the item usage is there. So let's go and just create. We'll grab a couple of things from our model. So we've got our definitions, and we had item definitions there. Let's just put that fuel on there and see what happens. There's our fuel definition. And let's look at related elements, insert related elements. And we had a fuel part definition. No, let's just put both these things on here, item definitions. Okay, so what we can see has happened is that this, as I explained before, is that when in this notation on the diagrams here, item definition or item def is representing item definitions, and item usages are just items. And you can see now that those two elements are visible, and they've got their full color and things. This other one over here, this attribute
muted.
is muted, and so it's because it's not part of our view definition. So it's saying, well, I'm going to show it to you on the diagram, but it's it's not one of the things that's in our view definition. So again, we could do the same thing. We could go, look, let's go this fuel kind one here and put that on there, and we'd expect that's what's going to happen, right? If we go and get our vehicle one, so where's our definitions for part definitions, and put vehicle, or let's put fuel tank on there. We'll see what happens with this. And this is there, even though we didn't define it exactly in our view definition. It's there because you can see we've put that in addition to the two items we specified in the view. Now that might change. Like I said, this is a work in progress. As we move to the alpha version, we make some decisions about, whether we keep it strictly the things that people put in, or what we think is, some other useful things to put in as well. So we could have added in that expression editor. If I'll go back and look at that. I'm not going to won't do this, but let's have a look at this view condition thing here. I could have also put in here, or space KerML, and I should put at in front of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you need an at symbol?
At, yeah, I'm just going through that a bit too quickly. Colon, and again, here we've got this stuff, and now I can
core,
put in
kernel, root, yeah,
and I can put in. So I might put in feature typing there, and that I've got some error there. Feature typing, spelt that somehow. Anyway, that's the deal, that I can put in KerML relationships as well.
Maybe it's capital F for feature.
I didn't. Yes. What did I do? Feature. Typing. Yeah. That's picked it up.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Scott.
That's worked.
Yeah.
So because you're using
it's case sensitive.
Case.
That's the thing.
Knew the difference.
Yeah, and then that will then add the KerML relationship window as well when we do this view. So let's just go okay to that, and then we've redefined that view there now. And if we were to create another another diagram, then we'll get that KerML one as well. So that view definition's been updated. Again, so if we were to add another diagram down here, let's do that and add another diagram and call it item views and relationships or something.
Yeah.
And we'll go and create that, and it's a item definition one there. And again, that's this is the problem where we've got to close and reopen the diagram again to do that. But let's do that. And we'll see now that the KerML feature typing
typing there as well.
Is there. So that's got rid of a lot of the noise in the toolbox, Scott. We can, we might not want these SysML relationships here. And so when we do one now, we can just say, look, let's get an item definition there, simple, and let's get an item usage there. And I can just use this KerML one now, feature typing between them, and that's that's there. So I think this is an important thing about the tool, is that out of the box we're just we've got all these things that are exposed there because in this alpha version, because we want people to be able to look at them all. But as we move forward, we'll have all these different view definitions, and you can create your own view definitions in as an individual, a team, or an industry, in fact. So
restrict things to make it more manageable. Yeah,
exactly, Scott.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us today and learning all about view definitions in SysML2. It's been great to have a look at this pre-alpha version of Trechoro and see how it works. For more information about Trechoro or other Sparx Systems products, you can visit sparxsystems.com. And for all of the videos that have led up to this one and many, many more, you can visit the Sparx Systems YouTube channel, where you can view these videos and take your time to review them and to see how you build up a model such as this in Trechoro. As always, thank you very much for your time and effort, Stephen. It's been great to see Trechoro in action, so greatly appreciated.
Always a pleasure, Scott.